My mother-in-law mailed me chilled gourmet chocolates for my birthday. The next day, she phoned and asked, "Did you enjoy the chocolates?" I smiled and said, "My husband finished them all." There was silence. Her voice shook. "What? Are you serious?" And then my husband called me. Can you imagine a birthday gift so sinister, so laced with venom, that almost cost someone their life? Because that's exactly what happened when my mother-in-law gave me a box of seemingly innocent gourmet chocolates. What I didn't know was they were meant for me to never wake up again. It all started subtly, like a slow poison. My mother-in-law, Patricia, had sent me these fancy refrigerated gourmet chocolates for my birthday. The next day she called, her voice sweet as sugar. "How are the chocolates, dear?" I smiled, thinking nothing of it, and said, "Oh, Thomas ate them all." There was this pause, heavy and chilling. Then her voice, suddenly brittle, almost trembling. "What? Are you serious?" That's when the first shiver of unease ran down my spine. See, my husband, Thomas, is a sweetheart, but when it came to his mother, he was completely blind. For 3 years, since we got married, Patricia had been a polite facade, but her words always had a hidden barb. Gifts were often 2 small sweaters or nut-filled cakes, knowing full well I had allergies. "I didn't know," she'd say, feigning innocence. It was exhausting. When Thomas excitedly told me Patricia wanted to celebrate my birthday with dinner, I braced myself. "She even said the other day, 'Amy has become a good wife.'" He beamed, completely missing the sarcasm I knew was there. He just wanted us to get along. He truly believed his mother was finally accepting me. I tried to believe it too, for his sake. But I knew better. Patricia saw me as the woman who stole her son. And my sister-in-law, Vanessa, living back home with Patricia after yet another failed job. Her eyes held a cold, unmistakable jealousy. "Are we starting this again, Amy?" Thomas would say, his face clouding whenever I tried to talk about it. "Mom just wants to get along with you." He couldn't see it. For him, Patricia was perfect, and any problem had to be my fault. It drove a wedge between us, a silent, growing tension in our marriage. My friend Jessica saw it, though. "You're going to your mother-in-law's again," she'd ask, horrified. "Last time, didn't she say your cooking had too much salt? Worried about Thomas's health?" She was right. "He doesn't notice," I'd sighed, stirring my coffee. "In his eyes, his mother is perfect." Jessica squeezed my hand. "Be careful," she warned. "I don't think Patricia truly accepts you." I knew she was right. Every visit was a tightrope walk of subtle sarcasm and cold stares. But I loved Thomas, so I endured. My birthday morning dawned bright and clear, but a knot of dread still sat in my stomach. Then the intercom buzzed. "Delivery for you. Refrigerated package." It was from Patricia. I felt a prickle of surprise. Thomas, just out of the shower, was thrilled. Must be a birthday present. Let's open it. Inside the elegant black box, Chateau Chocolatey glittered in gold. Boston's most luxurious. "Wow, Mom's being generous," Thomas said, impressed. "These cost over $100. A small card read, 'Specially selected just for you.' Patricia's meticulous script. See." Thomas beamed. "Mom has finally accepted you." I forced a smile, a shiver of unease returning. Patricia didn't just change. But seeing Thomas so happy, I couldn't voice my doubts. That night, Thomas made a special birthday dinner. It was wonderful. Later, cleaning up, he found the chocolate box. "How about some dessert?" he asked. I was full, exhausted. "I'll have some tomorrow." He just took one. "Wow, this is really delicious." Then another. I didn't mind. I was so tired. I went to bed, falling asleep almost instantly. Unbeknownst to me, Thomas, watching TV, kept popping one chocolate after another. The next morning, I woke up feeling surprisingly refreshed. "Good morning, birthday girl." Thomas said, already up, "I think I'll try those chocolates now." But when I walked into the living room, the empty box sat on the coffee table. My jaw dropped. "Thomas, did you eat them all?" He nodded sheepishly. Sorry, before I knew it, they were all gone. They were so good. I was a little disappointed, but shrugged it off. Well, that's okay. You can buy me more sometime. Then the phone rang. Patricia Collins. I answered, a strange premonition creeping in. Hello, Patricia. Amy, good morning. How did the chocolates taste? I chose something special. Her voice was unnaturally bright. I laughed. Well, Thomas ate them all. And that's when it happened, the chilling pause. Are you serious? Her voice, raw with something I couldn't quite place. But it wasn't disappointment. It was panic. My blood ran cold. Yes, he ate them all last night, I said slowly. He said they were delicious. Another awkward silence, then a quick, terse goodbye. As soon as I hung up, Thomas's phone rang. It was Patricia again. He looked a bit pale already, but answered. A few minutes later, he stumbled into the living room, face ashen, sweat beading on his forehead. Amy, I got a call from the hospital. I need to go. I'm feeling sick. He couldn't finish the sentence before rushing to the bathroom, vomiting violently. Call an ambulance, he choked out. I grabbed my phone, fingers fumbling 911. Thomas was rapidly deteriorating. His skin burned with an unnatural fever. It's okay, Thomas. The ambulance will be here soon. As the siren wailed in the distance, his phone rang again. Mom. I stared at the screen, a terrifying suspicion forming in my gut. I didn't answer. Paramedics rushed in. Severe dehydration. He needs Infor immediately. As they wheeled him out, I remembered the chocolates, the empty box. The hospital was a blur. Thomas was whisked away. In the waiting room, my phone showed 5 missed calls from Patricia. It rang again. Amy, where is Thomas? Why isn't he answering? Her voice was hysterical. He's in the hospital. He suddenly became very ill. I told her the name and hung up. Why was she so panicked? And why after that phone call? 30 minutes later, Patricia and Vanessa burst through the doors. Patricia looked absolutely terrified. Where is he? My son. When she saw me, she flinched. What happened? Why suddenly? I don't know, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Then a deliberate pause. After eating your chocolates. The color drained from both their faces. Vanessa bit her lip. Chocolates. Patricia stammered, her voice barely audible. He ate all of them? Yes, I said, watching them like a hawk. All of them. Last night. Just then a doctor approached. Mrs. Collins, we have initial test results. Severe food poisoning. But there's a stronger reaction than usual. We're conducting additional tests. Did he eat anything unusual? I remembered the box. He ate expensive chocolates last night. The box is at home. The doctor frowned. Can you bring the packaging? It might be necessary for testing. I'll get it. Vanessa suddenly volunteered, too eagerly. I gave her the address, suspicions flaring, and she raced out. Doctor, Patricia pleaded, is my son going to be all right? We're administering an antidote, he said carefully, just in case. The tests are showing some toxin reaction. Toxin. My voice cracked. What do you mean? The doctor hesitated. We can't be certain yet. But from the symptoms, it's not ordinary food poisoning. Patricia collapsed into a chair. No way, she whispered, her face pale. 2 hours later, Vanessa returned. Empty-handed. I couldn't find it, she mumbled. Maybe it was thrown in the trash. I frowned. It should have been on the living room table. Just then, a man walked in, identifying himself as a detective. Mrs. Collins, I'd like to ask some questions. Police. Patricia's voice trembled. Why? Specific toxins were detected in Thomas Collins's body. We need to investigate. My hand flew to my mouth. Toxins? Surely not. Last night, expensive chocolates arrived for my mother-in-law, I told the detective, and my husband ate them all. The detective's eyes narrowed on Patricia. Where did you purchase these chocolates? Patricia stammered, her face sickly. Chateau Chocolatier. But this is a misunderstanding. Is there any packaging or remaining chocolates? He asked. I shook my head. My sister-in-law went to get them, but she said she couldn't find them. The detective turned to Vanessa. You really couldn't find them? Vanessa shifted uneasily. No, they weren't there. After a long, unnerving stare, the detective announced, as a precaution, we'll need to investigate the apartment. I handed over the keys, my heart pounding. I went to check on Thomas. He was weak, but stable. What happened? He croaked. We don't know yet, I lied gently. But you'll get better. As I walked down the hall, heading for the restroom, I passed a private room. I heard a small, hushed voice. Mom, the plan is ruined. Vanessa, be quiet. She might hear us. Patricia's voice, low and furious. I pressed myself against the wall, my blood turning to ice. What's going to happen to us if the police investigate? Vanessa whispered. There's no evidence. You disposed of the box, right? Yes. Just pretend you know nothing. Thomas will recover. The amount wasn't enough. My chest went numb. The horrifying truth hit me like a tidal wave. They tried to kill him. Or they tried to kill me. When the detective returned, his face was grim. We've recovered the chocolate box from the trash can. My eyes darted to Patricia and Vanessa. The color of sheer terror spread across their faces. And we also found a box from a location other than your apartment's trash can. Miss Vanessa Collins, from the trunk of your car. Vanessa tried to stand, but an officer gently put a hand on her shoulder. Patricia Collins and Vanessa Collins, I'm detaining you for questioning on suspicion of attempted murder. I stood there, stunned. Why? I whispered, my voice barely audible. Patricia looked at me, her eyes colder than ice. We won't give Thomas to someone like you. That boy is our family. My friend Jessica arrived soon after, her lawyer's mind already racing. Amy, this is really serious. Don't talk to anyone until I get there. She began analyzing everything. Think back, she urged. Has Patricia ever offered you food or drink, especially just to you? It all flooded back. The special wine at our wedding party that made me terribly ill, missing all the photos. The special cookies at Christmas that laid me up for 3 days. I thought it was just bad luck, stress, food poisoning. Now, and Thomas's life insurance, I remembered he changed it 2 weeks ago. He said it was a better policy. Beneficiaries are me and his mother. Jessica's face tightened. And your life insurance, Amy? Does he have one for you? A chill went through me. I don't know. That night, I told the detective everything. A week later, Thomas was discharged, thin and pale but alive. He kept mumbling, why would Mom do such a thing? He couldn't accept it. 3 days after he came home, I knew we had to face the truth head-on. Thomas, I said, sitting beside him on the sofa, we need to go to your mother's house to find evidence. You know this wasn't the first time, don't you? He looked away, his pain palpable. I don't know that Mom would really do such a thing. Trust me, I pleaded, taking his hand. For our future, we need to know. The next day we went. Thomas, still weak, used his spare key. What should we look for? He asked, hesitant. Anything unusual, especially your mother's bedroom and desk. He looked so uncomfortable. Thomas, I said, my voice firm. Your mother tried to kill me. In Patricia's bedroom, elegance hid a dark secret. Her desk was locked, but Thomas, with surprising strength, pried open the drawers. Inside we found it, a copy of Thomas's new life insurance contract. Beneficiaries, me and Patricia, but next to my name, a small mark. A separate note, to be changed. My heart hammered. And then another document, my life insurance policy. I had no memory of it. Beneficiaries, Patricia And Vanessa, this is my life insurance. I gasped. When did you contract this? Thomas stared, pale and shaking. Mom said she would arrange everything. I covered my face, trembling. They had been planning this from the beginning. From under the dresser, I found a small box. Inside were photos of me with needles stuck in them, and tiny bottles filled with herbs and powders labeled. Thomas, look at this. I opened the laptop. Password protected. Thomas tried Patricia's common password. It worked. The browser history was a nightmare. Undetectable poisons, slow poisoning methods, complete guide to life insurance fraud. Thomas sank into a chair, holding his head. I can't believe it. Why, Mom? Suddenly, we heard the door open. Vanessa stood there, her face contorting when she saw us. What are you doing? We're keeping all of this as evidence, I stated, my voice strong. Evidence that you and your mother tried to kill me. Don't be ridiculous, she scoffed, but her eyes betrayed her. Thomas slowly stood up, his voice choked with pain and confusion. Vanessa, why? Why would you and Mom? Her expression hardened, a mix of sadness and hatred. Why? Because everything changed after you married this woman. Our plans, our future. What do you mean? I demanded. She laughed, a chilling, bitter sound. Mom never intended to accept you. Her target was Thomas's property and your insurance money. I held up the documents. Look, Thomas, your mother took out large loans in your name. They were in financial trouble. Thomas was speechless. Then, with a voice full of raw anger and sorrow, he looked at Vanessa. Get out, Vanessa. I never want to see you again. Thomas, you have to choose your family, this woman or us. People who tried to kill my wife, our family. His voice trembled, but his resolve was clear. Get out before I call the police. I stood beside him, holding his hand, and we stared her down. This isn't over, she spat, then fled. At that moment, Thomas's phone rang. After a few minutes, he looked at me, his eyes wide. Mom has confessed everything. Autumn sunlight streamed onto the courthouse steps as Thomas and I walked out, hand in hand. It was finally over. Patricia Collins received a 5-year prison sentence for assault and conspiracy. Vanessa, for her part, was an accomplice and got a 3-year suspended sentence, arguing she acted under her mother's influence. It's over, I exhaled, feeling a profound sense of relief. Thomas pulled me closer. Yes, we can finally move forward. We drove to a small town in Connecticut, a fresh start away from Boston. Visiting Patricia in prison was surreal. Her dignity was gone. She apologized, but her eyes held no true regret. Vanessa sent a letter, claiming she wanted to live free from her mother's control. I read it, but I couldn't bring myself to reply. Forgiveness would take time, maybe a lifetime. Our new house was small but bright, a symbol of our new life. Thomas had quit his high-stress job and found a local position. And that night, I had even more surprising news. We're going to be a family of 3, I whispered, holding the positive test. Thomas's eyes shone with joy. He embraced me, contemplating that tiny new life. Lying in bed, I held his hand. I'm so glad I met you, I told him, a small smile playing on my lips. And not eating those chocolates was the most fortunate decision of my life. Thomas laughed quietly, kissing my forehead. Thanks to me eating them all, we discovered the truth. In the gentle moonlight, we envisioned our future, not easy, but filled with a quiet, hard-won happiness. Have you ever had to face betrayal from someone you thought was family? What would you have done if you stumbled upon a secret this dark? Let me know in the comments below.